Hey guys, what's up? This is Bharat. You're watching iGyaan, and today we're checking out yet another exciting smartphone that comes in for a budget. Today we're going to be reviewing the new Bluboo S1. So let's quickly get started. Now, just like the name suggests, this is another phone that looks kind of like the Doogee Mix or the Maze Alpha, but I personally like this phone a lot better. It's priced for $170 US, that's roughly 10 to 11,000 Indian rupees, which makes it a really good entrant in this price bracket, and there are a couple of reasons why. As far as the design is concerned, it's quite reminiscent of some of the phones that we've seen in the past, including the Doogee Mix, including the Maze Alpha, and also the Xiaomi Mi Mix. But what I like about this phone is the form factor. It's a lot more comfortable to use. It's a smaller size. It fits in the hand really nicely. It's got all rounded off edges, including the back, including the sides of the phone. So it feels really comfortable in the hand, and the size of the display is also a lot more easier to use than, say, for example, the Xiaomi Mi Mix or even the Maze Alpha. Now, there are certain compromises that are being made, and the build quality is not as great as the Maze Alpha, and you can feel it the minute you pick up the phone. It's considerably lighter, so I'm not too sure what the frame is made of, but if I was to guess, I would say that it's made entirely out of plastic with an outer shell that looks and feels premium. Now, over at the front and the back, you do have glass on this phone, and both sides is Corning Gorilla Glass. The front does have a 5.5-inch 1920 by 1080p full HD display with a 2.5D arc screen, and then you also get Gorilla Glass over at the front. But more importantly, compared to the other phones, this one has a 90% screen to body ratio, which makes it slightly more exciting with the lack of a thicker chin at the bottom of the display. Now, if you look closely, or if you turn on something in the white color on the screen, you'll see that there is considerable amount of bezel on the side as well as the top of the phone. But again, the phone in itself looks a lot more premium thanks to the way the display has been placed on this. Now, there is a small cutout on the top for the earpiece, and the camera is still located at the bottom and also is still not very usable as far as the front camera is concerned, and I'll talk about it when we get to the camera section. If we talk about some of the hardware on the inside, we get a Helio P25 chipset with an octa-core 2.5 GHz CPU, and you also get the Mali T880 GPU. You get 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, and the phone is available only in this one variant, but you also get a white color option in case you want to go in that direction. The device can take in up to a 256GB micro SD card, which can be placed in the hybrid SIM tray. Now, as far as the user interface is concerned, it's quite identical to, like I said, the Maze Alpha. In fact, it's the same guy shipping out OTA updates for these people. The user interface looks quite identical to that as well. So even after all the latest updates, the device still runs Android 7 out of the box, but the least it will run is 7.1.1. There is no information on whether or not this will run Android 8. Now, as far as the user interface is concerned, it's quite fast and extremely responsive considering the price of the phone and considering that the Doogee Mix was quite laggy when it came off the bat. If we talk about benchmarks, the results are not as great as, say, for example, the Maze Alpha, and that may be purely because of the kind of RAM and storage that is on this device is slightly slower. But as far as day-to-day usage is concerned, switching between applications and even doing things like multi-window, all of this works beautifully on this phone, and I personally have no complaints. Now, gaming, on the other hand, is a completely different baby altogether. As far as Asphalt 8 is concerned, it does run at full graphics, but I did see considerable amount of frame loss as well as lag while playing the game, and it does deter the gaming experience a little bit. So if you want to be gaming on this phone, I would recommend that you stay away from it, or you don't run games like Asphalt 8 at full graphics. Now, while the earpiece of the phone is loud enough, the main speakerphone does leave a little to be desired off of it, but the overall form factor of the device makes it a great media consumption device, and the fact that it does have a slight amount of bezel ensures that you don't get any accidental touches while using this device. You still get the Android navigation buttons above the main home button, which also is a fingerprint sensor. The fingerprint sensor is fast, responsive, quite accurate, and works really well, but you can disable the on-screen buttons so that you get a fuller screen experience. Now, as far as the camera is concerned, almost identical to the experience we got from the Maze Alpha. The main camera is decent, not the best that you can expect. It's the same combination with a 13 megapixel autofocus camera, which is the main camera, but this time it's paired with a 3 megapixel instead of a 5 megapixel focus sensing camera. So what it does is measures the distance from your subject and allows you to get the blur effect. If you're trying to get this phone for the dual camera features, they're not that great, and honestly, that's not why you should be getting this phone. The blur out photos are shoddy at best. You can customize the amount of blur you add in the background of your images, but again, it doesn't find the edges of your subject quite as well as many of the other phones do, and you do get this tacky looking blurred out image. Honestly, some softwares or apps can do a better job of defocusing the background, and you should totally stick to those. The 13 megapixel pictures are quite usable. They are slightly noisy even in well-lit conditions, and if you're planning to do something really special with those images, you might want to stay away from the camera of this phone entirely. Now the screen is responsive. The display has a good viewing angle indoors as well as outdoors, and a good amount of brightness as well. As far as calls and conversations are concerned, the device does support 3G, 4G networks all over the world, including in India, but the phone doesn't seem to be supporting voice over LTE networks, or we don't see any menu options for those at least, and we didn't have a SIM to check it out, so I'm not too sure if Reliance Jio will work on the Bluboo S1. If any of you guys have tried it out, do let me know in the comment section below. As far as audio quality is concerned, the sound from the earpiece is good enough, and the microphone picks up all sorts of sound from this side. The noise cancellation is good, but we didn't see any noise cancellation microphone on the device, so I'm not too sure how it's doing that, but it does a fairly decent job of that as well. Now let's talk about the battery. The battery is a 3500 milliamp hour battery, and the device only weighs in at 169 grams with that battery, which means that this device is considerably lightweight for the battery size and the overall specifications and hardware that's in there. The battery will last you a full day without any problems. We did face some issues with charging the battery up, and in certain cases it would refuse to charge up using the included charger, so we had to use one of our own chargers or power banks to charge this phone up. Now for a price of $169 US, or about 11,000 Indian rupees, this phone is a really good looking phone with a fantastic display and great day-to-day performance with Android 7 on board. It should get an update to Android 7.1.1, and that should improve the usability of the device a little bit, but it's not the best gamer, it's not the best at managing RAM, and it's not the best phone for taking pictures at all. You do get a great build quality with Corning Gorilla Glass over at the front and back, but with the lack of any sort of warranty or service and support, the Bluboo S1 is for those who just want a good looking display and then don't want to worry about the fact that there is no warranty available for this device. Alternatively, you can go in for the Doogee Mix or the Maze Alpha, which seem to offer a slightly better camera experience and slightly better performance compared to the Bluboo S1, but out of the three, this seems to be the best form factor, and this seems to feel the best while using in hand. So ease of use and overall looks, the Bluboo S1 is definitely winning some points. That's it for this review, guys. If you have any questions or queries, drop them in the comment section below. You can read the full review of the Bluboo S1 on iGyaan.in. You can also catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Until I see you next time, guys, have a great day.